What's up, everybody? I'm over here on Tier List Maker on one of these random websites here. Let me just close these tabs out. So yeah, basically, I'm doing this because I believe I haven't done a tier list in a very long time, and I don't honestly remember the last time I did this. Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. But basically, with the experience that I've gained through these 2 or 3 years, I want to see if any of my opinions will be changed from the past. Although I did not watch my video again to see where I placed everything. The only thing that I remember that was fucking absurd was I think I placed Thunderbird in either D or F. Or I think F because I said it was like too slow back then. But really, this is like a very good unit, and I feel like it's very useful for early game, of course. But basically, what you do is you create, um, for example, one of these, which I already did, by the way. You create this, and what I did in the past, I still have this saved in my folder. So basically, I have all of these saved, and then I just shift click, and then all of these get stored in like that. And there's a lot of units, as you can see in HellHalt. So I've already done that, so I'm not gonna do it again. Um, Also, I believe somebody also created these. I mean, it was probably me. But without further ado, I should probably get started. I wish you could put like a title for this. This is supposed to be for early game, levels 1 to 10. I want to try to not make this video too long, but it is going to be long because I kind of want to explain everything I'm doing here as well as to where I want to place these guys. Obviously, S being the highest and F being the lowest. If you guys know in school, F stands for failure or fail or shit unit basically. There isn't an S grade in school, but a lot of you guys know that S is like even better than A, like top tier unit. I did try to do this on like other websites, but it didn't end up working out too well. For some of them, you had to like buy a subscription also. I just didn't want to do that. I feel like a lot of you guys know this website, and it's just easier to use if you guys want to do this yourself as well. um, so over here we have Acolyte. Obviously, it's S. This one's gonna be A. This one's gonna be B. I'm kidding. Before you guys go crazy. So Acolyte I had put under C before because it's got a few good levels. The issue with actually I should start with explaining how am I really gonna criticize and how am I going to grade these units each in particular. I want to grade them depending on how much push you get in the beginning of the game, um, and how useful they can be to clear levels. So, anything that's obviously high push, like let's say LOD or Giant Spider or um, Ferbs and Ogres, um, all of that stuff should probably be S tier. It's a little difficult to grade some of these, keep that in mind. But that's how I want to grade them, depending on their usefulness, and then also, does it get you high push? Because as you guys know, when you play this game, income is very important. And keep this in mind that this, what I'm doing here, this is early game levels 1 to 10. Is basically what we're doing here. I don't know why I can't like put a title, so I'm just gonna put it up here, I guess. That's my early game. Interesting how that you get all these random suggestions too. Fallout 4, Stardew Valley, whatever. So why do I have this here? Obviously, you get low push with it. But it actually is a really decent unit. You do start low push, but it's a decent unit. It's actually really nice for levels 4, 5. It's even good for level 10. If you actually don't have any Pierce unit, magic damage isn't terrible on level 10. I'm not saying this is amazing level 10, but it's an option if you don't have anything else. So that's why I have this here, and it's also very cheap. To get a Revenant, it's just 100 gold. 20 gold for an Acolyte, 80 gold for a Revenant. And I guess it is kind of sad that it costs 1 food, but I mean, it's fine. It's not a big deal. Apparition is probably going to go under D, because it only has 1 use. First of all, it's just too expensive. And especially because if you want to reroll, and you want to save both of the auras, because they do stack if you upgrade one of them, and then you make the small one, it's just very expensive. I mean, it's 250 each if you want to save both of them. A lot of the times, players will just save one of them because it's just so expensive, and you also don't share it with your ally in the dual lane. But it's just expensive. I mean, you're spending essentially 500 gold on an aura that doesn't do anything for you in the early game at all. It's very bad. It's only good for you on level 10 to reduce the attack damage of bosses. Although, at level 8, it also is decent, you can say, for tanking, so that's why I would still put it here, for tanking purposes. If you have nothing else to tank, because it's medium armor, then it could be okay to put it there. Actually, Aqua is good right there where it is, B. Yeah. Gets you a decent push early. If you're in the dual lane, I think you can go at least 6-2. 5 Aquas automatically hold level 3, even versus Send. And this unit's actually really good in competitive battles, or in competitive matches where people like to stack with Aqua. And obviously it's very good at clearing waves. So this is definitely good for not just a good push, but also stacking for level 10 if you want to do that. But I would put it, so technically this would be A, because you get good push with it. But if you don't want to stack, I'm going to put it on B. Because you also don't want to make too many of them, because they're going to make you weaker on level 10. Again, it's only if you stack. I would put this on B, but if you stack, I would put it on A. So I'll just put it for B for now, just assuming we're not going to stack, because I don't like to stack. And what I'm saying by stack is you're leaving these units on your ally's side for level 10, just to clear that lane. And it's just a competitive strategy, basically. That way you guarantee hold at least one lane with all that value over there. Elite Archer is very difficult to grade. For me, it's either A or B. I don't know. This costs a lot of food. You also don't get very good push early. But it is insanely good in solo lane to make this. Especially if you have a nice aura with it, like, where is it? Troll Fighter. That's good. I would still put it under A. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you get low push, though. A low push start. But it clears a lot of important levels, like level 5 all the way to level 10. Well, not level 10. Not alone, that is. In solo lane, I've cleared level 6 with 9-4 push, with just mass elite archers and maybe 1 tree of time. And of course it depends where your champion goes, but literally, if you clear that champion quickly, all my elite archers stayed alive, and I only lost my tree of time. It's even good for level 6, for a level that's fortified, and this does pierce damage, which is not technically supposed to be good on it. The only issue with this is that it's low push and a lot of food. So, like, low push start is what I'm saying. Like, if you build this in dual lane on level 1, it's like 1-0. And on level 3, you want to have 5 archers to hold guaranteed. Of course, if you have a tier 1 unit, this is very good. You can get like 3-0 push start with like, let's say you have like peasant. You can make peasant and 1 archer. That's obviously very good. I'll just leave it for A for now because it's just useful, I guess. It's also a decent polar unit, so I'll just leave it there. Azure Dragon's a close one between D and C, but I am actually going to put it on C. Obviously, not for the early game and the high push early game, but this is a very good tank for levels like level 5 and sometimes level 6 too if you have good DPS behind. 7, 8, 9, and even 10. That's why I see this as very useful. The only reason why it's at C, this is like one of the best tanks because of the frost armor also. And also it can deal frost attacks from its attack alone. Obviously if you have something like Dark Mage, you've seen that in one of my videos, it's very strong. This is the only downside for this unit is that it attacks slow, but it's mostly used to tank. And I think this is definitely one of the best tanks in the game, which is why it has to at least be C, but if you want to make this, you're going to be low push. If you want to make it for early, like it's not going to go well for you. That's why it's going to be at least under C. Boars, I don't like using boars. I put it under C. I don't like blocky units. A lot of the times, you gotta make this unit either at spawn with a good unit like ogres. Where's ogres? Right here. Or you just build mid-build, and you have to try to find something for level 6. A lot of weak waves, I mean, level 6, level 8. You're also not guaranteed to hold level 10. It's also low push start, which is another reason why I'll put it under C. But it could be good, and it could be useful, depending on your units. For example, even if you have eggs, it could be good. I don't recommend making eggs with this, because this is going to go in front of eggs, especially on range waves. But it's something. It's the best unit with ogres, basically. If you ever get ogre boars, you're going to have a good game. Fire Archer is difficult to grade because it's just very useful. Good DPS for level 10. I guess I'll put it here. It's very, very difficult to grade this because you're not going to make this early game. Like, it gives you low push. But because you can make this into a Dark Mage, it makes so many other units useful. Like Green Dragon, Death Dragon, Spawn of Dragon, wherever that is. I don't see it here. I'm blind. There's a lot of units this could be very good with. And also, it can clear well once you get a lot of them. Once you get the ball rolling, and you got a lot of Bone Warriors, they deal decent damage, and they're also decent for level 10. So I would at least put them under B, I think. Because of that usefulness of potentially making it into a Dark Mage, and it's also not that expensive either. You just have to have good tanks with it. Crab. Huh. This clearly would go under F, but I'm gonna put it under D, because, in my opinion, it's still a pretty good tank for early game, and then you also have the option to sell it whenever you want. Because of its ability, you get like I can't I always forget how much it is. I think it's 85% back of the gold that you spent to make it, which I believe is 95 gold or something. I don't use crabs enough to like remember it on the top of my head, but it's somewhere around there. I've used this before, the tank on level 7. It's actually really good. It's got around 900 hit points. Obviously it attacks very slow, but you're using it to tank. You could also upgrade it into medium armor. A King Claw is medium armor for level 8. Even though I don't recommend using it because it's still bad. But yeah, I'll put that under D just for tanking purposes. And it does clear level 1, actually. If you... I don't believe you can you can do 2-0, but I think you might be able to. I don't remember. Captain... Put under B. It's a very good aura. Obviously, you only make 2 of them. There's not much to say about it. I mean, auras are very important in this game, and it makes the units around you stronger. The only reason why I want to put it under B is because it's a melee aura, and a lot of the times it'll get killed. Unless you have, like, other units to help it, like maybe ogres or something, to keep the aura alive a little bit longer. And that's why I would have it under B. Alright, this is definitely going to go under C. A lot of you guys like spitters, but it doesn't get you good push early. And the only time it's really good is if you have very good tier 1 spam, like peasants, peewee, gnolls. Yeah, if you got something to tank for it, then it's good. It's not the best DPS, but it's decent. Like, it's good level 8 and level 10. But level 10, of course, you have to have good tanks. The issue with this is it's very blocky, so you're probably going to have to build them in a row or a column. You know. I don't know. I would think maybe C for that. Centaur, D. It's too expensive, and it's not useful at all early game. The only time you could ever use it is, like, level 10. If you use it for level 6, I don't think it's worth it. If you're gonna use this on level 6, you better have, like, a mermaid or something. Or something to heal it, keep it alive a little bit longer. I wouldn't make it early game, it's just too expensive. Spirits is another thing I'm going to put under D because it gets you low push. And yeah, you never make Centaur or Spirits early game. Spirits is if you're really desperate and you have nothing else. But this is basically 1-0, well, 2-0 push start. And then you can't push on level 2 if you want to play Spirits only. For example, this costs 180 each. You need at least two Constrained Spirit upgrades to hold level 2. And you're going to be spending 360 gold on it. It's very expensive, and you're going to be low push. The only levels it's good against is, like, maybe level... It can do sometimes okay on level 5, even though it's enchanted armor. But it's good on level 6 if you have, like, melee that can go in front of it. But yeah, having a lot of these is going to make you a liability on level 10, which isn't good. So, I wouldn't make these early, unless, like, you have to, and, you know, you like this unit. It's also bad on level 7, sometimes bad on level 8. Needs a lot of help on level 8. You need them to split, and then you need a lot of melee. A lot of, like, tier 1 spams, or something. Tier 1 spam, ogre, something to go in front and tank for it. That way this deals the damage. And then maybe by the time the creeps get to the spirits again, they can split again. If you're lucky. If your tier 1s survive long enough. Cults, D. I like the unit, but it's not something you want to really make for early game. I mean, I've used it before. It's okay. You have to have, like, maybe something like ogres or something that can be really good at tanking. But you don't want to make this early. They're just too slow. They cast a spell. And the only useful level they can be good on is level 10. But even then, it's not easy to use it on level 10 because a lot of the times, as you know, if you're expecting a send, people are going to send mass. Like mass peasants, warriors, ghouls, and these guys, you know, are going to be focusing those units first before attacking the bosses for the most part. And like I said, they waste time casting a spell. You have to have good tanks with it and other units with it too. Cyborg, there's no question about it. You don't have to even tell me that that's not F. If you guys think this unit is C, probably a Reforgy would think this unit's C, but I don't. There is absolutely no reason you should ever make this early game. It is expensive and just too slow and terrible. And you'll leak level 10 if you make a lot of them. Just don't make it. Period. That's all you gotta know about that. Dark Priest is a very hard unit to play early game, but I think I could at least put it under C. If you can make this in solo lane, it's actually good. Oh, by the way, I do have, you see how you have another priest icon here? This is Dark Priest because it goes in order. As you can tell, I started with Acolyte, that starts with A. This one's Dark Priest, and then this one's Priest, because Priest comes after Dark Priest. In the alphabet, of course. So yeah, I would put it here because it's very difficult to play, but it actually deals good damage. It doesn't get you good push, but it's actually useful if you have a lot of them for level 7 and onwards. Sometimes it can be okay level 6, it depends on what... A lot of this stuff is like, it depends what other units you have, you know? It could be useful. But this is also really bad early game. It's another... You might put it under D. I would put it under C if you played in solo lane. It's still okay. It deals good damage. Again, if you have nothing else for level 10, it still deals decent damage. Disciple? Probably D. Don't see a reason you should ever use that for early game. Unless you want to make, like, massive phoenixes, I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't use that early game. Although I've seen some players... Obviously, for a lot of these auras, you want to save them. They're also pretty expensive to make, but you want to save them before you reroll. So, they're always going to be useful to have. I've seen, obviously, the Koreans hold with Mass Disciple and eggs, but that's very situational. You need to have eggs with it. So, there's that. I guess you can hold with it. Its ability is pretty decent, too. But yeah, this is another unit that's also really slow. Griffin, don't see a reason to build this early game. You just won't do well any levels if you make that. Except for level 9, I guess. That's the only level, but when is level 9 ever a problem? It's not. I've made this list before, but Druid is either A or B. I'll put it under B for now because it doesn't get you high push. You don't make this unit early ever. Like, not... You start making it on level 4. If you make it early between 1 and 3, you're gonna have a hard time. And you're gonna be low push. If you have, like, no other options with it. I would put it under B, but at the same time, it's hard because you would love to put it under A. It's very useful for level 10 when you can upgrade 1 or 2 of them into Ascendants. Armor reduction is very key for boss rounds. So that's something, you know... I mean, honestly, this unit's very good. Level 4 and onwards, it's actually really good. If you spam them, they have the Chain Lightning ability. And, it's the only thing, like, that will make me want to put it under B. It just doesn't get you good push start, but it's actually a very strong unit. It could even be used to tank a little bit. Like, let's say your tanks die. These guys are pretty durable. They have a lot of hit points for the unit that they are. So I would still put it under either A or B. I don't know which one. Eggs is very hard to judge because it's not good at all to make early, but it's probably one of the best tanks you could ever make in this game for early game and also mid game. So yeah, it's hard. I mean, I would put Druid here because it's the only thing that's stopping it is just low push. But you're gonna have other units to start with, and then after that, this is gonna be very strong. So I don't know. I'll still put it under A maybe. And eggs is like the best tank you could possibly get for early game. It's very cheap and they're durable. They stay alive long with their ability. I guess if you're really afraid of level 5, you could also upgrade it into the Sky Dragon. Ents, probably F. Unless you want to make them on level 10, you do the cheese at the spawn. I don't do that. I would put under F. Not much to say about that unit. It's just very bad and weak, and also very slow. If you noticed, a lot of units that are slow are not good for early game. And yeah, the entangling ability, you're not going to get any use out of it unless you're using it on level 10. So, a lot of the times this will TK on level 10 if you use this. Let's say you don't put it at the spawn and you put it by your units, it can TK because it can entangle a unit, and then the rest of your units will ignore that unit and go after other units, and then this unit that's entangled is going to be attacking you and flanking you. If you think of it that way too. Flying Machine, I always see this as a very good aura, so I'm going to put it at A. This is a game you primarily want to use range units, because melee units are just shit in general, in a game like this. Range units are very good, so obviously I'm going to put this under A. It's either S or A. Auras are amazing. They make your units stronger. This doesn't have the best range. It does die pretty fast on the range rounds. But on the melee rounds, it's very useful. Okay, so this one's Footman, because Footman comes before Pee-wee on the list here. I'm going to put Footman under D. There are some instances where you can use them. If you have nothing else for early game, you could use them. It's just low push, but they could be useful. I've used them before for tanking on level 5 and level 7. They're okay. They have a nice ability where they take less damage from pierce attacks, so it is actually decent on level 7. I've played one game where they sent level 7 and I was expecting a send. I had guards under Oracle, and the guards survived the entire wave up until like the last few creeps. So it basically did its job. It tanked for me. But of course the Oracle's important with it too, so it's just situational. This is one of the auras I don't really like. I put it under C or D. But I guess because it's an aura, I'll put it under C. I mean, I don't know. I would still put it under D. I mean, I don't see it being that useful. The issue with this unit is, yes, if the creeps touch your other units, they get the frost effect, or they give them the frost shield. It's not like frost armor on a unit like the mermaids and what was that other unit? And the Azure Dragon that gets frost armor. It's not like that, but it does slow them down. But by the time the creeps get to your units, they're probably already dead. You're gonna have DPS behind, so I don't really see the use to use this too much. It's not one of my favorite auras, that's for sure. Little Wolves I'll put under C because they're very underrated. They're good for early game. They can be good for level 5 as well, which is, again, another important level. Good damage. They have a bleeding ability. They can tank level 5 as well because they have medium armor. I don't recommend upgrading this. It's not good. It's just a Frost Nova ability and a very shit unit that doesn't deal much damage. So I wouldn't put it there. Okay, so Ferbs, solely, I'm going to put it up here just for pushing purposes. chances to get high income. That's the only reason I'll ever put it up there. I recommend using this unit in duel. Obviously, if you get Wolverines, it's very good. Orc Warrior, if you get that. Wombo combo. I've been 9-6 before. By the time I got to level 5, I've been 9-6 with this unit before. Keep in mind, if you do upgrade it, you're going to be weaker to a lot of levels after. So don't upgrade them. Make other units with them, if possible. Unless, of course, you're expecting a giant level 5 Sund. But, yeah, definitely don't upgrade them. Just make a few of them and link them for early game. I would recommend, again, dual lane, not solo lane with that unit. But if you do have no other option, then I would make it still on solo lane. Gate guards is either B or C. They're actually decent for early game. The issue with this unit is it costs a lot of food. Each one of them is 1 food. And obviously if you upgrade it to Herald, it's also costs food. But it helps. I mean, you hold for sure early game in the making this unit like levels 1 to 3, but they do make you weaker to level 6, 7, and level 10, which is the reason why you shouldn't make this unit, and that's why it's under C, because at least it's decent. It's good for early game. If you want to place at spawn, I would recommend only playing it if you get like a good aura with it, like Young Witch Doctor, Troll Fighter. I mean, Mermaid's okay with it too. That's the only time. The problem is you still have to overbuild with this unit. It doesn't get you insanely high push, but you do clear the early levels. For example, if you want to hold level 6 and 7, you gotta stay like 9-3 push, especially if you're expecting a Send. And if this team is smart enough to see that you're spawned, they're gonna insta-rage, and then you're gonna leak. It's the issue, like this unit's just not good at the spawn all the time because of insta-raging, but the best use you can get out of it would be at the spawn. So, I would put it there. Frenzy Ghoul is gonna be F. You can use it for level 1 and 2, and that's it. If you want to use Scarecrow, I guess be my guest. You guys already know how bad. Anybody that's experienced in the game knows how bad Scarecrow is. If anything, you might want to build 1. It could be okay on level 5 and level 6, assuming it gets some help. But this is not a unit you can go crazy for. It's going to be either D or F, but I would just put it under F. Yeah. This is going to be A, because although you don't get the best push and it's very expensive early, you can still go 9-5 or 9-6, especially if you're in solo lane. You can go 9-5 or 9-6 by the time you make it to level 5. And again, if you have units that can get you high push, then I would put them under S tier. It's just income's so important in this game, and being high push is important. The only level you gotta worry about with this is level 2, for early game. But also, by the time you get to like level 6 and 7, you might want to full sell it. Maybe you reroll and you get something better, and then that's when you decide you can full sell it. If you still want to keep it for level 6, that's fine. Definitely full sell it for level 7 and level 8. Sometimes you still want to keep it as a tank for level 7, but automatically you should be full selling it on level 8. I've seen instances where this could be still useful to tank on level 10, because when it dies, little spider hatchlings appear. So I guess it could still be useful. Nulls, I'll put under B. They're pretty good for early game. They can get you high push. Be careful, level 4. Be careful, level 7. Obviously, you gotta have other units with this. So, because they're very vulnerable. You're not just gonna make nulls only. Do not upgrade this unit. It is trash. Just use it for that poison ability that it gets and tanking or stalling purposes or tanking purposes. While your range DPS is dealing the damage. Like carrion spitters, for example, would be good with that. This unit is very difficult to grade. It's between F or D. I would put it under D just because it's useful for level 10, getting the stuns. But it's actually a decent tank. It's fortified armor. Obviously, you don't want to use the tank for level 6. But it can be a decent tank if you have nothing else to tank with. And also, of course, it has a cluster rockets ability. So there's that. Brawler? F. I don't recommend making this early game. You're still low push, and if you make a lot of these, you're not gonna have a good game. On level 5 and onwards, it's just very bad. I don't recommend it. This is a very Reforgy unit, by the way. This right here, that is a Reforgy unit, if I ever saw one. Reforgies love making this. Mutant is going to be either B or C. Maybe. The problem with me grading mutants is it depends on what units you have, as usual. This is an S tier unit if you have eggs, for example, with it. It gets you high push. You're going to want to push because you have mutants. But which is, obviously good. But again, it depends on what tanks you have. It's insanely good with eggs. S tier. 100%. I would put it under B because of the fact that you got to use up crystals to make them useful. But again, if it gets you high push, it's very close between A and B. It's not very good early game. It can help you clear level 1 and 2. Level 3, you're going to have a hard time. You have to have other units with it. Level 3, this is very bad, especially versus Sun. A lot of players like to send Hermits and Archers. A lot of the times, you don't want to upgrade mutants on level 3. If you have nothing else for level 4, I would definitely upgrade this and Juice. It's also weak on level 5, unless, of course, you Juice and you have a good tank, like Eggs. I don't know, other melee spam, like melee spam maybe. Mid build with melee spam, I guess could work with it. So yeah, it's either A or B, I don't know what to choose with it. Assuming you have good tanks with it, it's gonna be A, because it gets you good push. But I'll just put it under B for now. I don't like Grizzly at all, I would put that under F. Terrible unit to make early game. Don't do it. It's actually a good tank for level 5. And that's about it. I wouldn't use it any other time. Terrible level 8, terrible level 6 and 7. This has fortified armor, it dies fast on level 6. You gotta have other units to help it. Like a mermaid, other melee spam with it, maybe, for it to stay alive. But even then, it's not good enough. It's very slow. Very bad level 8. Very bad level 10. You just don't make it, basically. If you really need a tank for level 5, then I guess it can go under D, but that's only one level. So I'm just going to put it under F. Death Dragon, low push, and basically can only help you for levels 1 to 3. It's pretty weak on 4 if you don't make like 2 of them. But again, like it's low push start. Weak to level 6, level 7, sometimes level 8 as well. You gotta have something to tank for it. And if you make a lot of these, you're just a liability on level 10. That's why I wouldn't make this. The only time you could really get good use out of this is if you have Troll Fighter or Bone Warrior, which then transitions to Dark Mage. Okay, this is obviously F because it's very expensive and you just don't make it early game ever. The Goliath Aura is not something you want to make early. It's not worth it. The only time I've ever seen this being useful is with Warden, but even then it's not worth it. Giving the Warden extra armor is insane. But yeah, I wouldn't make it. This one's very close between D and F. I guess I'll put it under D. It's a terrible unit to make. Don't make it. Even if you wanted to use it to tank on like level 6 or 7, it's still not that good. It dies pretty fast. The only reason you should ever put this under D is just for the miss chances. In my opinion, you should let this come into the battle late on level 10. Because if you send this out early on level 10, it'll probably only hit like 1 or 2 bosses. Because obviously the bosses didn't bunch up yet. So I would actually wait to send this in, and it could actually be really good with those mischances if you send it in late for level 10. If that makes any sense. Harpy. Definitely C. It's not good to make at all early. But because of its utility, it's actually very strong. If you really must reroll, and this is always a unit you gotta make before you reroll. Maybe make like 4 of them on level 4 and then reroll if you have to. They still deal decent damage for level 4 and level 5. It's not the best, of course, but if you gotta have them, then, you know, it's always worth making them. For the champion rounds, if you do make a few of them, and they do target the champion, very useful to make. If that does happen to you. If any of the harpies do attack it with the poison, very good. Again, it's utility, and also it's a very good counter to level 10 to have this. So, that's the only reason I'll ever put it under C, just for its usefulness. Murlocs is insanely difficult to grade because you do get 3-0 push start if you want to play it safe with Murlocs on level 1. And it also can create some delay for you. It's just a very shit unit is the problem. It's a lot weaker than the other tier 1s. It has no ability, and if you mass them, it doesn't have poison like Null. It doesn't have the extra hit points like Peasants. It's not as good as Pee-wee. Like, it won't get you good push like Pee-wee. It's between C and D for this unit. But I'll put it under C just because delay is important in this game for early game. And also, for later, it can help you. It's good to keep them around in case you want to transition into Seraphim for level 12. You sack them, and then you revive like Elite Archer or Zeus for level 12. That's why sometimes just having that spam, good for the delay, and then also for later, for transitioning. Green Dragon's gonna be either B or C. I'll put it under C because if you guys ever played on Ent, it can leak level 1 versus Warriors, or it will leak level 1 versus Warriors. But of course, we're not worried about Ent or a Warrior Send. We're gonna talk about how good this unit is. So basically, this is always a full sell before level 5 if you make Green Dragon. The Hawks themselves are okay to spam, but not the best unit, of course. They're very slow, and they also have low range. You gotta have like tier 1 spam with this for it to be useful. I don't recommend anything with low range to make with eggs. So definitely not that. Hedgehog is going to be D. No question about it. You can make it for levels 1 to 3, and then afterwards it's like, you shouldn't make more of them. Unless you want to be weak to a lot of waves. So basically, if you want to keep your roll and the only thing you have is Hedgehog for like level 1, then you can make it. At least it's going to hold. It's a good unit to make for levels 1 to 2 and 3. But of course, you don't want to make too many of them. Also, don't want to really upgrade them either, unless you want to upgrade one and like full sell it. Knight is going to be F. I've had maybe one time it was useful for me. I held level 6, but that's only because the champion didn't attack it. It went behind to my Thunderbirds, and I had a mermaid that kept it alive versus Suns. It did a good job, but it's just not a good unit to make anytime between levels 1 to 5. And it could be okay for level 6, but again, that's just one level that it's good on. On level 7, it's also not the best. You're basically just using this to tank. For level 6, it can deal good damage to the creeps, but again, it's just very slow. So basically, if you do want to use it to tank, just make one of them, and full sell it before level 8. Like when level 7 ends, if you have no other tank, just full sell it on level 8. It's terrible on level 10. Just don't make it. Zeus is hard to grade because Pyro into Destroyer is just a shit unit and gets you low push. If you do have okay tanks, like maybe tier 1s, a lot of tier 1 spam, and you want to start making Zeus already, then it can be good. It's either B or C for me. But in order for this unit to be good, you gotta have a lot of them. You gotta get the ball rolling, like druids. If you have a lot of them, it could be good. It's a good counter to level 10, so I would at least put it under C. It's gotta be under C because the very low push start again. Tridents. You better hope you get a good aura with tridents. Otherwise, it's just low push. Oracles, mermaids, Overseer, which is lifesteal. Troll Fighter is insanely good with tridents as well. Young Witch Doctor. It's got to be at least C because of the low push start if you want to play it. It's weak to level 5. It can hold level 6, but you need to have at least like 4 or 5 tridents, which is obviously overbuild, like I said. It's weak levels 1 to 3. It's also weak level 4. Unless, of course, you're spawn on level 4, but it's just weak and it's overbuild, but it's a very strong unit to make, especially if you have auras, and it also helps you hold level 10 very comfortably if you build it back. Obviously, if there's no insta-rage on level 10, then it's gonna hold at the spawn. But if they insta-rage and they sun level 10, you could leak with tridents at the spawn. Depends on your luck as well. LOD, easy push start, easy 9-4, 9-5 by the time you get to level 4. Nothing much else to say about it. You full sell it up by level 5 unless you want to use it to tank and you have other DPS behind it. And then it could still be useful on level 6. If you want to keep this for level 6, fine. Definitely full sell it for level 7 or level 8, because it's not good after that. After level 6. Turrets are hard to use. Definitely D. So between D and C, you gotta have good tanks with it. they're low push start and they cost a lot of farms, which is one of the reasons why I don't like them that much. And you're still going to be very weak to level 6, especially if they send. And yeah, they're not also that good level 10 unless you have like eggs and like a lot of good stuff to tank. This unit's actually insanely good if you have like rangers with it. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't really get you good push start. It's you have to stay low push with that. So probably D. Meat Wagon's gonna be D because you can still hold early levels with it. Sometimes if you need DPS on level 6, you can make some of these. You can make flesh launchers. The 140 gold upgrade of this could be okay. And it's also a very good polar unit too. That too, for level 10. Or any levels, really. It's a good polar unit. So, C or D? I mean, D. Because you're not really going to want to upgrade these early. Oracle's hard to grade, but I'll put it under C, just for its usefulness. I think a lot of these units that are very useful are going to be at least C. But of course, you're not going to want to make this for early game, like levels 1 to 3. Like, maybe you want to start putting these down on, like, level 4, just to heal your units, and also, if you want to reroll and you still want to have future oracles, that this unit buff, again, it's an aura, so it has to at least be at somewhere above D and F. It's just that this aura, like something like this and that, it's not that useful for early, even though it's an aura. Mermaid is going to be B, at least, because it's only 130 gold and can get all your units. Let's say you make like 3 or 4 of them. You can give 4 units frost armor. And it's only cost 130 gold. It does decent damage. And if you upgrade it, you only need 1 of them for early game. If you do upgrade it, it has a good healing spell. It's worth the 300 gold. It's like 170 for the upgrade or 175, I don't remember. And 130 gold just to make a mermaid. Keep in mind, a mermaid does not cost any food, only when you upgrade it to highborn, which is another reason why it's good. Just for the supports. Obviously, it's not amazing to make for levels 1 to 3, but the support is really strong. The healing is really strong. The frost armor is really strong. I've said this before. It also does cast a spell that damages creeps. And yeah, it's decent DPS for level 10 too. It does decent pierce damage. Minotaur D. I've seen this leak level 3 before. The Bigfoot. The upgrade of Minotaur. Versus Suns. I've seen that leak before. It needs help on level 3. It needs something else with it. Very bad unit to make level 1 and 2, and I don't see it being very useful at all, in my opinion. It could be useful on level 6, maybe. Again, you gotta keep it alive. If you have a mermaid with it, then it could be good. I wouldn't recommend making this. I wouldn't trust it. But I'll put it at least under D. Otherwise, I would put it under F. Because of its ability, I'm gonna put it under D. Warden is gonna be B if you like stack with it. But it's terrible to make for early game. Like levels... You're gonna be 1-0 push on level 1 if you want to make this, basically. But after that, this could be strong. This is a very good unit to make in the dual lane. You can hold like every level, basically. After you make 1 Warden, it's so easy to just hold level 4. Like, 1 Warden alone holds level 4, basically. It's a very strong unit. It's very RNG also. But, 2 Wardens are gonna, for the most part, hold level 5, unless you get unlucky, and they do send, and it's a big send. I've seen them leaked before on level 5 versus a big send, but for the most part, they're gonna be good. They're just weak to like levels like level 7 and level 10, basically, this unit. I've seen it do bad on level 8 also, sometimes, if you're unlucky. But, of course, this is going to be under B, because, well, really it should probably be C. But, if you stack with this, similar to Aqua, then it's actually very strong to have this. The reason why Aqua is higher is because it gets you better push early. That's the only reason I'm putting this here. These could both be used to stack. But, I think Warden is just... again, if you're playing 0.84, then this is like S tier. But like, because all you do in that game is stack, right? But yeah, I mean, it's good. It could help you hold levels. I mean, I definitely could see this being under B. The only issue is the low push, like I said. C, I'll tell you what, C in solo lane, B in dual lane, because if you communicate with your ally to full sell, then it's actually very good. You get all that gold back. You get 300 plus 350. Necro's going to be S tier because, for obvious reasons, if you build Ghost and all the creeps are low health early on, everything dies. Of course, it has chances to leak level 3. You don't get the best push with it as well, because Ghost is very expensive. It's still very good, because, especially if you get fed early, like, you can already be 9-5 by, like, level 5, or even level 6. It's very easy to, like, already be, like, 9-6 by the time you get to level 6. Unless, of course, you want to overbuild and you're expecting a send. You can just push hard after the send, because that's going to hold no matter what on level 6. If you stay like 9-4, let's say, and you're expecting a send. That's all I'm saying. Mudman is terrible. F. Just a big tanky unit. It's not really anything useful. Its upgrade doesn't have any ability. It's just a big tank. I've actually seen this being useful for like reviving purposes on level 17. I've seen that being useful before. But other than that, we're not talking about mid-game, so we're going to put that under F for now. Neo Tank, basically, I have reasons to put this under D. Terrible unit to make for early game. Levels 1 to 5. Just very bad. Not only does this cost 3 food to make, and it's expensive, you're not going to get much use out of it. You're going to make maximum like 1 or 2 Doomsdays. If you make more Neotanks, sure, they deal decent damage. Don't upgrade them if you make more Neotanks. But keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to leak level 10. So yeah, if you play this in solo lane, you could maybe use 1 or 2 of them. 2 is the maximum for solo lane. I wouldn't make more. They're just way too expensive. I mean, this is 3 food, 360 gold to make a Neotank, and 450 for a Doomsday. The ability itself is useful, but it's just not worth it for the amount of gold that it costs. Nightmare F. I don't want to talk about Nightmare. It is a nightmare to build. Novice F. Make more of those. You're going to be very weak. Ogres is going to be S tier. Anyone that's played this unit knows that this is terrible. Like, you don't want to build any of these 2 units. Just take my word for it. Ogres gets you high push, very easy at the spawn. And they're amazing because you can just spam them. And it only costs 30 gold and has a chance to stun creeps. What more? What What more do you want than that? It has to be S tier. Good tanks for level 10, and of course, like I said, they can stun, and they get you good push start. So that's good. You're a little bit weak on level 3, but and then on level 5 you gotta have other units with it. I've upgraded ogres before on level 5 and held at the spawn, even versus Sun and Insta Rage. They're strong if you upgrade them, but I don't recommend upgrading them. War Chief I'm also gonna put under D. I feel like it could still be useful for early game, like levels 1 to 3. Of course, be careful with the hermits. Have other units to help this out. Like, even Priest would be good with it, just to keep it alive longer, and it's only a 20% chance that it uses a Thunderclap per attack. So, it's just another RNG unit like Sea Giant. Where is Sea Giant? Right here. Whether it spins or not, it's just RNG. Warden's RNG as well. Orc Warrior, it's either D or F. Obviously, with the Wombo combo, it's S tier, but it can help you hold levels 1 to 3. I mean, I've built 3 Wolverines before with something else in the back, like maybe a healer, and they held level 3 for me. Of course, be mindful that you gotta have them share aggro versus Sun. Or try your best to have them share aggro. Making too many of them will make you weak to level 7, level 8, and level 10. Keep that in mind. A lot of them are, again, like I said, they're just good with the Wombo combo for the most part. But they could help you hold levels early if you have nothing else. I don't hate it. Warlock is going to be C just for the usefulness. Although this is a very close to D. I mean, it's really hard to judge that one. You don't ever make it levels 1 to 5, so it's at least, I mean, if it attacks a champion, sure, then it's useful, right? For levels 6 to and onwards. If it attacks a champion, it's good, right? It cripples them. It lowers their armor. It's obviously insanely good for level 10 to lower the boss's armor. So that's why I think at least I should put it on C. But you don't want to ever make this early, like levels 1 to 5. It's just very bad. So again, it's just similar to Harpy. Like, just for the usefulness, you have to put it at least on C, maybe. And obviously level 10 being such an important level. That's why Zeus is here too. Yeah, you don't... Zeus isn't... I like making Zeus, but like... It's not the best for early game. You want to make this in carry lane for the most part. Forsaken 1 is going to go under D just for its ability. Basically. But it's not good early. And if you make too many of them, you'll leak level 8. It's also not very good. Like, let's say you wanted to make just one of them to tank. It's not very good level 6 either. Even though it does deal the siege damage. You'll get a much better use out of a range tank. Like Azure Dragon and Hydra, even. Or even Steamroller. A ranged tank will already do better than this. Because a lot of the times with units like this, all these melee units, they need help. Otherwise, they just fucking die. What happens is if most of your army is range and you have, which you want most of your army to be range, and you have only like one of these, it's just gonna go in and get itself killed and get surrounded by all the mobs. But if you do want to make more of them to help it out, or if you have tier 1 spam, the only time you should ever make this is probably with tier 1 spam. If you make a lot of these, you're just going to be weaker to level 8, level 7, it's not that good either, and then level 10. That's why I hate to be the person to put it here, but its ability is actually really, really good. Really, really good. It gets like plus 25 armor. And it also doesn't attack that slow. But it's a pretty weak unit to make. Peasant, probably A. Good push start, a good tank, and tanks 2 hits on level 10. Just be careful level 4 and level 7. Those are the main weak levels for this. You gotta have other units with it, as usual. Like I said many times. Overseer D, I don't see much use out of Lifesteal early game. Unless, of course, you have something that attacks fast, like Wolverines. Sure, maybe Forsaken one. There was another one. Oh yeah, Tridents. That's Solar Hero as well. Solar Hero doesn't attack fast, but they're not that slow either. Obviously Lifesteal's insane with Wolverine. But I don't recommend making this for early game. A lot of the times it's like a nuisance to make this because it costs, if you want to keep both of them, and also if you want to share it with your ally, it's just a lot of money. Let's say you want to just give 1 to your ally and 2 for yourself to upgrade it in the future. That's already 390 gold you just wasted on a unit that's terrible, and you might also not have melee units with it at the moment. You just want to keep it because it's an aura. So a lot of the times this is a nuisance to make for early game, and it's just not good. Okay, now this is Pee-wee, unlike this one. This one's Footman. Pee-wee? This is the... I'll put it in the front. I mean, the best unit in the game for early game. I've been 9-6 push by level 4 before. It's just that easy to hold with Pee-wees. I've seen players also play it at the spawn, which I guess I could do too. If I was good at being fast and moving them back, but I'm not. You could easily go 9-6. Depending on how well the game's going for you, you could probably even be 9-7 push by the time you get to level 4. But I've held with 9-6 before in carry lane with this, with Pee-wee. It's a little risky to go higher than 9-6. If you just make Pee-wee only, don't upgrade them. I've seen... I've held with 9-6 before. 9-7's a little risky. You probably leak with 9-7, but the game's going well for you, you can try 9-7 maybe. Or if you want a pro leak. Definitely recommend making this. It's also delay for level 10. And yeah, high income is good. Hellraiser is not the best unit to make. It's situational. It's very good with Peasant at the spawn. It's very good with Ogre at the spawn. It's very good with Gnolls at the spawn. I think you guys are seeing a recurring theme with this unit. It's good for... with tier 1 spam, basically. But you do really just want to make 1 or 2 of them, especially if you're in the dual lane. If you make at least 2 of them to try and hold levels, and you ask your ally nicely if he can full sell, then I would do that. A lot of the times you can make this for level 3, It can clear pretty well. Even versus Send. Level 5, it's pretty good. Level 6. Probably by the time you get to level 7, you're going to want to full sell it. On level 8, it's just completely dead value, and also level 10. Unless, of course, you're committing to a build with a lot of Hellraisers and tier 1 spam, then that's fine. At the spawn. Magnator is either A or B. The aura itself is just really, really good. And then the Magnator itself can stun creeps. Let's say it's attacking the champion. You might get a stun on the champion with this. Or you could even stun the boss on level 10. This is one of those units where you gotta make sure it stays alive long. And let's say you do keep it alive long, and maybe you have a few priests to help it out to heal it and keep it alive. Or maybe you even oracle it. If you have that slow aura, and keep in mind, most of the levels in the early game are all melee rounds. You just have level 4 and level 8 that's range. They're mostly all melee rounds. You don't ever make this levels 1 to 3 unless you want to reroll and want to save the aura, of course. Just don't upgrade it to Magnator for levels 1 to 3. Not worth it. It's too many farms and it's just very bad. It's just too slow. You're not going to get any value out of Magnator for levels 1 to 3. But the aura itself, if you can keep this alive long enough, it's very good. It's only weak to level 4 and level 8, really, because you're not going to get any use out of it. Priest? D. Because not only is it bad to make early, it can still be okay to heal. Like, the reason why this is an F for early game is because it can heal units. It can keep units alive longer that can deal good DPS. Like, for example, Giant Spider. It's very good with Giant Spider. Or maybe even Death Dragon or Azure Dragon. Keep them alive longer with Priest. A lot of the times, if I do have to reroll for level 10, I will only make like maybe 3 or 4 priests and then reroll. Because keep in mind, if you make a lot of these, you will leak level 10. It's dead value for level 10. They just attack too slow, and the heals are not going to be useful enough because the bosses just deal way too much damage. You're not going to get any use out of healing units, basically. So Malile definitely gonna put under C. It's just the same as Warlock and Harpy. Usefulness. If you attack the champion with this and you have other Pierce units, then good. It's a good polar unit as well. This is a very, very good polar unit to have. And if you do have Pierce units, you're almost guaranteed to hold level 10, depending on how you play. It's just very strong for level 10. You mark units. If you have Pierce units, they take more damage when they're marked. Simple as that. Proton A. It's very good in combination with certain units, like even Ogres, or something that can tank, like even Giant Spider. Put this behind the Giant Spider, you're gonna have a good game. These guys, they're fast, they deal good damage early, they can get you good push. They're just very good. What could I say for early game? Just don't upgrade them to Adepts. Don't do that. But I'll definitely put them under A, because they only cost 20 gold, and they deal good damage, and they're chaos damage, and they attack fast. So, yes. Raider, probably F. This is another insanely Reforgy unit. This is one of the reforgiest units ever. This one and Brawler. Right there. I don't even gotta talk about that. I mean, Raiders suck. They're too slow. They cost, well, I guess the upgrade costs food. The only thing that's decent with it is if you really have nothing else for levels 1 to 3, but even then it's weak. You still have to overbuild with it. I don't know. It could definitely be D, but I'm gonna put it under F because it makes you weak to many levels. It's not that good early, like levels 1 to 3. Still low push. You're bad on level 5. You're bad on level 6, 7, 8. It's not good on 10 either. Like, it's not good. It's just not good. I remember one time a very experienced player, and like this was a very good player. I don't remember who it was. He tried Raiders for early game, and he was like negative 300 score by the time of the end of the game. He just did not. I guess he didn't roll into anything good afterwards, and Raiders just gave him a terrible start. I don't remember who it was. Oh, fuck. Was it Fabi? I don't remember who it was. I don't know. It was a very good player from what I remember. Hydra, I'm going to put at least under B. It needs help level 1. It's not good at all level 1. Especially versus Send. But it's a very good tank. Which is why I'm going to put it at least under B. This is an insanely good unit, especially if you have Flying Machine with it. Its ability is very good. If you use this to tank no matter what. You want this to die and then split into mini Hydras. Assuming you also have very good DPS behind it. This is probably the best unit you can make with Necros. Basically, you just have one Sea Giant into Hydra upgrade to tank for Necros for early game. And you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever versus any Suns if you do that. The only issue, or the only thing you gotta worry about is maybe level 10. But another reason why this combos well with Necro is because what's Necro's one of Necro's biggest weaknesses? Level 12 afterwards. Of course, we're talking about early game, but this could be good to tank for Necros, even for level 12, and it also deals magic damage, so wonderful. And I mean, it's not terrible early game, just needs help on level 1. Make at one. It's a little bit difficult to hold versus Send with this on level 3 if you're playing in the solo lane. On dual lane, if you make a Sea Giant every level, like level 1, 2, and 3, a lot of players know this too. If you do that, you hold in the dual lane pretty comfortably. Seer of Darkness is terrible, but at least you can use it to tank, so that's the only reason I would put it under D. But this is a terrible unit to make for early game. It's just too slow. It's too slow. The only reason I'd ever put it under D and not F is because you can use it to tank. And that's it. You don't make this ever for levels 1 to 3. It's also bad level 4 because it's just too slow, even though it does magic damage. And level 5, you're just using it to tank. No other reason. Night Saber's hard, man. For me, it's like Night Sabers. If you start with Night Sabers, it's slow push. But it's actually a good unit for holding levels like level 5 and 7, and also level 8. It could be good. It's also decent on level 4 as well. This holds levels, but you have to overbuild. Simple as that. This is similar to Constrained Spirit, actually, except it deals pierce damage. It's not similar to Constrained Spirit, but basically what I'm talking about here is for the early game, you have to overbuild hard with it. You could start 2-0 and just do sentry spam, but then I think on level 2 you shouldn't push anything. You gotta save gold for like a few Night Saber upgrades. But the reason why it's better is because of that pierce damage, and it's just much more useful for certain levels. It still can deal pierce damage for level 10 as well. But having a few Night Sabers, I mean, it's important for levels like level 5 and 7 and 8. If you're expecting a sun there. This is another extremely difficult one to grade, Slaves. Obviously it's good, because it gets you good value. But this is also dependent on rolls. If you have a good roll with Slaves. If you have good range units with Slaves. Necro, LOD, and Slaves are some of the best units possible that you can combo this with. Even Giant Spider. Because Giant Spider does have somewhat of a good range. Druids can be okay with Slaves as well. Yeah, Hydra. Zeus, not as much. Mutants, sure. Mutants is good with Slaves because you just have to be careful levels 1 to 3. You're probably gonna make mutants on starting maybe starting on like level 4. Just to have a tank, maybe. And maybe like you can juice one. But because you have mutants, you can push with Slaves. Which is nice. There was another unit that it's good with. I'm not thinking about it right now. I don't know. But yeah. If you're gonna play this unit like a Reforgy, and you're gonna stay 1-0 the entire game, then this is a unit that you can probably put under D if you're gonna play it that way. The issue with Slaves is you need your allies to push a lot. They need to have good rolls. Otherwise, you're never sending. You're just gonna have low income because one of your players can't send and they have low push. If your allies can push, then it's fine. They can send auras for the slave player. But again, it's just very situational. And this is a unit that you really want to play in the carry lane. For that reason, if it is a pro player playing this unit, I would put it under B. And it's pretty good delay on level 10. It makes the bosses kind of... Depending on luck, of course, it makes them spaz around a little bit. And, yeah, I get confused. A pro player will know how to use these. Obviously, if the slaves go wrong, then you're not going to get slave gold, right? If you're leaking with it. Depends on the role. I've said this many times. Landmines. A. Or S, I should say. If you're insanely good with landmines, play this unit. If you don't want to just do landmines only, it still gives you good push early. And then you could always, by level 5, sack them to Seraphim. If you have at least like 500 value of landmines. You could always sack them to Seraphim. And then you have a decent tank like Seraphim for level 5. And then you can probably do the cringe surging thing if you really have to. But if you're really good with landmines and you know how to pro leak with landmines, this is insanely good. Because not only are you creating delay for sends and getting income, this is a unit that you can be easily 9-3 by level 3. 9-4, level 4. By the time you get to level 6, you could even go like 9-7 It's just very easy. It clears everything other than champions afterwards. Again, the high push and then the chances to pro league, if you're really good at doing that, and you know what pro leagues, then I would use this. A lot of players are 9-10 with this, and then they can even better if you have eggs and plague with this. That's a bonus. If you have that combination of units, landmines are S tier. I put them all the way up here. Yeah. But of course that's going to be for mid game, not for early game. Spawn a dragon, I'll just put it the same place as Death Dragon. This is actually worse than Death Dragon, in my opinion. Situational, you gotta have Troll Fighter or Dark Mage. But again, if you make this, it's just weak on a lot of levels. It's low push early. Well, not that low push. It's not easy to hold with this on level 1. It needs help, of course, especially versus Sand. It can be low push, but at least you do guarantee hold level 3 if you have this, with maybe 1 or 2 other units. And that's about it. That's the only time this is useful, for levels 2 to 3. Because sometimes this could leak level 1. It's not very good. Spectres, again, just usefulness. It's not good. Actually, this is probably D. You don't want to make that early game. I've had times where this unit isn't even that good for level 10. But saving this unit is always useful for later. For levels like level 20. And onwards. Sometimes if you really have nothing else and you're expecting us on the level 12, and let's say you have like eggs with specters, then sure, you can upgrade them and they can do okay. This is actually a good unit to make with eggs. I've held, and it's not often that you make a lot of Mercurials early, which is the upgraded version of this. It goes from Spectre to Wraith to Mercurial. You upgrade it all the way. You don't usually make a lot of these early, but at one time I did hold very comfortably with 6 or 7 Mercurials on level 8, even though they do have medium armor there, with eggs. As long as you have a good tank, they're actually really good together. But still really bad early, so don't make them. Unless you want to reroll, of course. Thunderbird, I'll at least put under B. Good unit to clear waves. Very good for tankiness, and they deal good damage as well. Put this with a Troll Fighter or Dark Mage, and you have it at least at A tier for sure. Very good. If you don't have auras with it, B. Yeah, B. It's not terrible damage for level 10, they're just slow, basically. You gotta have attack speed with it. And other units, of course, to tank for them. But of course, you won't have the easiest time early game with this. If you do, but you also are guaranteed to hold every single time on level 3. I've had times where I held Ascend, and they just kept taking damage constantly from the Sens. They're just so tanky. I literally only had 3 Thunderbirds, and they held level 3, and I think I only lost 1 Thunderbird. Versus like a big Sen, like Wyvern Hermit. It's just crazy. It's still really good. Like it's I've seen it hold level 5 too. Like you can even hold level 5 with it. It's just sometimes hard. You can still hold level 6 too. It's just a little hard sometimes if you're trying to Sun. Okay, Leviathan. I don't see a reason to use this early. Sure, you can make it for level 6, but even then it's very slow. If you want to use this to tank a little bit, then maybe, because it's got a lot of hit points when you upgrade it. But I don't think you should be using this to tank either way. It's got high damage, but it's just very slow. And it's also just terrible on level 10. You're not going to do well with it. So, you should... I've seen this hold level 1 before, but again, if you make a lot of these, you're still going to be weak to levels like 2 to 5, and then it's weak on level 7 and 8 as well. And also on 10. Like, it's just... There's other options you should make, and not Leviathan for early game. Steamroller, the only reason I'm not putting this under D and I'm going to put it on C is because of its ability. The landmine ability to distract the creeps. This is obviously very, very, very bad to make levels 1 to 5. Like, I don't recommend it at all. But when you upgrade it to a soul tank, it launches mines and can still be useful for the a lot of the rounds. Especially when you get into mid-game, of course, but we're not talking about mid-game. And then, of course, when it dies, it spawns a landmine, and also spawns a clockwork, which is basically this unit right here. And that could also be useful for tanking. Could be useful. Level 6, 7, 8. They're very good tanks. Assuming, of course, you have good DPS behind, then these are good for tanking. And also they can be good tanks for level 10 as well. And obviously if they die, they summon this to stun the bosses. So that's why I'm putting it under C. Literally just for its abilities. But you don't want to make this levels 1 to 5. Terrible. Tree of Time... I hate Tree of Time. It's either B or C. Again, it's just for the slow ability. I like Magnatuer better because of the stun chances, and I just see it being more useful. I don't see a reason to use... It's good for slow, and that's about it. Same with this, I guess. But yeah, like I said, it does stun, also. I guess I'll put it under B, because level 10 is so important, and slow is okay for level 5, 6, and 7. Don't make this early game, levels 1 to 4. If you want to delay not making this, then make it, like, after level 8. I don't see the reason to use the movement speed, unless you have tridents with this. You don't want to be moving units faster to then die to the bosses on level 10, I feel like. But maybe with tridents it could be okay because of the stunning ability. Yeah, I don't use that often, the tier the tier 1, the Tree of Travel, basically. The Tree of Time is the one that slows the creeps. Yeah, but I don't like this unit very much. I'll still put it under B because of the slow being useful. Again, you gotta try to keep this alive as best as possible if you can. Like I mentioned before, I have held level 6 because of the slow, with just elite archers only and Tree of Time. It's useful. Alpha male, I guess you can put under S just for the high push start. I mean, I've seen myself go 9-3 before on level 3. It's just that fast of push. If you want to play it safe, you could stay 9-3 for level 4. But if you're already 9-3, you may as well go 9-4. And then you'll probably pro league on level 4. If you playing this at spawn, of course. Move back on level 6, how I do it as well. And if you can do that correctly, I mean, alpha males are not even that bad on level 6. They're actually really good. The only level I see this being very weak to is level 8. Now why is that? If you make tribesman into alpha male, it has medium armor. Shouldn't it be good level 8? Well, because it's got the low range, it's actually not good on the range round level 8s. It's actually very bad. You could even leak level 8 depending on your aggro with alpha males. It's very bad, yeah. And then you also have the issue where they waste time to ensnare a creep. And what are you going to be ensnaring a range creep for? You know what I mean? It doesn't really do anything. So that's another reason why it's not as good, because it wastes a lot of time to ensnare. And it's also got low range for the range creeps. Tusker. I should do this more often. I should play Tusker at spawn. High push. Obvious reason why I would put it here. High push. Play it at spawn and you hold. Simple as that. Also, obviously, it's good for a lot of levels. Sometimes it could be good on level 5, depending on how many you upgrade. And hopefully, like, there's no sand either. It's not the best unit for level 5, but it could be good if you spread them out and upgrade them. That's only if you're expecting Ascend, you're going to be overbuilding a bit with this. Like, you're probably going to stay like 9-3. If you're expecting Ascend on level 5 or 6. But, a lot of the times you want to add other units with this. If you want to do Tusker only, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But if you add other units with this and you can just spam them, then it could be okay. Like Hellraiser, for example. Troll Fighter, I'm going to put under A, right next to Flying Machine. In my opinion, I feel like these two are the best auras in the game. This is obvious reasons. Increases the attack speed of your units, and obviously Flying Machine. Most of the useful units in this game are range, so that's why this is always going to be A tier for me, or possibly even S tier. It's just very good to have. Because you only make like one of them, maybe two of them, so that if when you mid build, so that like your whole army gets the buff. You're not making many of them, but at least you're gonna have that aura, which is why it has to at least be A tier. And I think they're just so important. They're so good. As you see in a lot of my games, I kind of complain when I see enemies get like the best auras ever, such as Flying Machine and Troll Fighter. Like those two are just the best. Slow Hero can get you high push, and it's really good to YOLO, but you do have a few levels that you're going to be weak to, like level 6, 7, and level 9 and 10. But because of the push, it's very good. And then also, if you don't use Solo Hero, you could always go Solo Villain for level 10 and get that minus armor for the bosses. So, again, you get two options, and it's very, I should say, versatile. Just like Bone Warrior, you can make it either Dark Mage or you don't ever use Skeletor, but you can either make it into an Archer or Dark Mage. Very versatile. This one's another one that could be versatile, but Sword Mage is shit, so you don't ever use it. And sometimes you could just spam Druids and it's already very strong. Watchers are situational. They're not very strong, but they can be good with tier 1s. tier 1 spam. So it's either B or A. They're not that bad. They have good AoE. If you have tier 1 spam, you're holding basically level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes even level 6, depending on what units you have. They're good to have for early. They're also not that expensive. Sure, they cost 1 food. I mean, what doesn't cost 1 food for the most part? It's cheap. Like, it's 80 gold plus 120 for the upgrade, and it's only 200 gold, and they deal good AoE damage. Like I said, it's good with the tier 1 spams. Wandigu. It's between F or D. Oh, I forgot to mention with slaves, now that I see Yggdrasil, slaves are very good with Yggdrasil. Let me tell you that much. Assuming you make Tree of Knowledge, of course. That's what I mean. But honestly, this is good for having and then full selling. I would say at least C. Because, yes, it's terrible levels 1 to 3. If you do somehow hold level 2 with Yggdrasil, it needs help, a lot of help on level 2. If you have nothing else for level 3 and you want to make Tree of Knowledge, then I guess do that. But just bear in mind, if you make this on level 2, you're in big trouble. Excellent for clearing and tanking on level 5. Tree of Knowledge. Also good just because of its ability, Tree of Knowledge. Level 6, level 7. It's not very good level 8. By the time you get to like level 8, you're probably full selling it. And that's about it. I think I was supposed to judge. Oh yeah, Wandigu. I got love for this boy, for the Wandigu. And I also think maybe evasion could be useful. You never know. You just have to get lucky. If you want to use this as a tank, and maybe you have like Mermaid to heal it up or something. It's just situational. You have to have healing for it, and it needs help. The evasion could be good, potentially, even on level 10, just to dodge attacks. So, again, because of its ability, I'm probably going to leave it at D. And it is kind of tanky. Wyvern I want to put at least B, because you get a terrible start with it if you want to use it. It's very bad levels 1 to 5. And if you upgrade them to the poison, I can't remember if Wind Rider is the upgraded version or the unupgraded version. I feel like Wyvern is unupgraded, and Wind Rider is the upgraded version, the one you spend 200 gold for and has poison. I don't remember. But this is good for level 6. Sometimes weak to level 7. You'll hold level 8, and basically it's a counter to level 10, which is why it's so good. But this can potentially hold level 7 too, versus Sun. Just spread them out. You might see in my videos I spread them out, because I don't want them attacking the same target. Unless, of course, it's the champion. But a lot of times the champion can either spawn on the wall, in the middle, or on the side. So that's why spreading them out is also good. But also, you don't want these attacking the same creep. If it's not the champion, that is. So. Because for early game, the creeps aren't going to have a lot of hit points, especially on level 7. Like, 1 or 2 hits and the creeps are just dead from the Wyvern attack. This is an excellent aura for early game. Especially with tier 1 spam. It just keeps units alive very, very well. You don't have to necessarily upgrade this aura. You can just keep it. as just the way it is, just a young witch doctor instead of the elder witch doctor. It is only 100 gold and it doesn't cost food. So why the hell would you not use a very nice healing aura that is only 100 gold and doesn't cost food? This is excellent. At least A tier for early game. Just to help out. It's an aura. Very good. And I'm done. I don't want to talk about zombie. That's it. This video went on long enough. Yeah, almost 2 hours. This is my list. I know you guys are gonna have different opinions on it. I don't care. Everybody else has their opinions. Hopefully, this is somewhat accurate for early game, and I'll move on to do mid game, which is gonna be right here afterwards. So it's gonna be in a different video. I'll see you guys later.